morning, and thank you so much for joining us on After GMS. Today is Thursday, August 12th. I'm Tracy McCain, here with Megan Malaris and our buddy Ed Matthews.
Our buddy Ed Matthews, who's taking a break from the stifling heat in the weather garden, cooling off for a few minutes. It is just, yuck. That sums it up.
In Studio 2 with the air conditioning, and it feels so good. What in the world did people do before there was air conditioning? I guess they just sweat a lot. Yeah, for sure. Maybe doing some sweating over the next few days if you're going to be outdoors, because more of the heat and humidity and high heat indexes are what it feels like. Yesterday, our official high at PTI was 93. That was the 18th day so far this year where the temperature has reached 90 or above. We got plenty more to come. We'll be back up around 93 today, but the heat index, or what it feels like when you factor in the humidity, will be between about 100 and 105, and that can really put some serious stress on your body. So working outdoors, make sure that you stay hydrated. Going out to the Wyndham, yeah, that's what it is. It's a Wyndham, isn't it? Probably some Williams there watching the tournament, but at any rate, seriously stay hydrated, because heat stress and heat stroke can kind of gang up on you there in a short period of time. Now we'll cool off a little bit by the weekend, but we're going to keep scattered afternoon storms in the forecast as usual. And then next week we're going to be focusing on what happens with Tropical Storm Fred. Right now, forecast the remnant low to move through Georgia sometime Monday or Tuesday, and if that plays out, it could potentially bring a soaking rain to the Piedmont. It's still a great distance away, but we're going to be tracking it today, tomorrow, and of course, right on through the weekend.
All right, that's your forecast. I mean, we could have stopped at hot. Yeah. But there's so many chances of rain and thunderstorms. Yesterday's thunderstorms rolling through, Ed, and they were crazy out by my way. I mean, it just all of a sudden it was like a crack of thunder, and then, and that was it.
It's all that heat, and we're, interestingly enough, we're not in the severe weather outlook. If we were, obviously I'd be showing you pretty graphics and take a look at this big geographical area that's under a severe weather outlook. But these are isolated, and that's very important, that there will be a few pop-up or isolated storms that reach severe limits. So we'll keep an eye, obviously, on anything that fires on the radar. And of course, you've got your News 2 weather app, and we'll keep you posted on that as well. You got the live radar right in your hand.
There you go.
Yeah, we were running errands yesterday, and all of a sudden walked outside the store and there were huge lightning bolts in the sky, and I'm like, got to get home. Right. But it didn't rain a drop at my house. It was all just for show. Just Mother Nature saying, ooh, I'm going to be big and scary, but I'm not going to give you any rain.
I guess it just depended on where you were at the time.
All right, so our first talker today, already some of you are weighing in here. The iconic game show Jeopardy, which we all know and love, is getting not one, but two new hosts. Mike Richards and Mia Bialik are the new permanent hosts, and we want to know what you think about the show's decision. Let us know in the comments while we give you some more background. Mike Richards is one of them. He is currently Jeopardy's executive producer. Remember, he filled in as guest host for the show for about 2 weeks last year. Mia Bialik makes history as the first woman to be a permanent show host. She'll lead a series of ABC primetime specials and a potential spin-off series for Jeopardy. She is a former star of the sitcom The Big Bang Theory and also guest hosted Jeopardy for 2 weeks. So what do you think about these choices and the show's decision to add 2 hosts instead of 1?
Well, some of you responded with a text message. Dawn said, Mike Richards was one of my least favorite guest hosts. Another viewer said they liked Mayhem and added good luck to both of them. So we want to know what you have to say about the hosts of Jeopardy. And a lot of people wanted LeVar Burton. You're rooting for him. Dana said she was. She said she was rooting for LeVar Burton to be the new host. We also heard from Trina Pratt, who said the same thing. I was hoping for LeVar Burton as well. Joy said she wanted Ken Jennings to host. So lots of options, because we saw weeks and weeks and weeks of, guest hosts on Jeopardy, and they decided on those two.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers didn't get it either. He said Jeopardy host was his dream job, and unfortunately was not in the cards for him permanently, at least. Maybe he can fill in some time.
Well, he has another show on NBC.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
so
he's busy.
it's over.
He's busy. I really liked Anderson Cooper in that I thought he kind of sounded and acted the most like Alex Trebek, and you could tell he really researched the topics and knew the questions, and probably that was the journalist in him doing that. But of course, he has his own shows too, and is probably pretty busy to do that full time. But you know, all in all, I think we got to give these two the benefit of the doubt and see how it goes. And they have a long slew of tried and tested fill-ins ready to take the reins as needed for vacations and such. So, yeah.
I mean, we'll see. I'm excited to see when it starts. Ed Matthews, you've watched Jeopardy for decades now.
Yeah.
What do you think about the host changes?
I think they'll do well. I think it's important as we, as the dedicated viewers to this great show, and what I think is a real learning experience every night I watch it, is to not compare these people with Alex Trebek.
Right.
Don't do that. You know, Alex Trebek, as great as he was, he had his very first day on Jeopardy as well. And he improved, got better and better and better, and became a big star, and really the icon that he was on Jeopardy. Give these two a chance, give them an opportunity to kind of set their own path, if you will. And I think they'll do just fine. Now, I want to know, are they going to trade off? Are they going to be there together every night as kind of duel, or what?
I read the release from Sony Pictures, and they didn't say how the format was going to look, which makes me feel like there could be a format change. And, you know, of course, we'll let you know. But right now, they're not saying anything except for their two hosts. And they didn't even go into why.
Yeah, and not that they're gonna call me and ask my opinion, but
They
you know,
will.
that would be a first, I think, in game show hosting, to have two hosts for the show, and it could be it could foster more interaction and conversation and all that. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Mayim Bialik from Blossom, and you know, have followed her career throughout. Of course, she took a break to go to college and then get, you know, her doctorate in neuroscience. So I mean, she's been busy. And then she had, you know, some other shows come out, especially on CBS with How I Met Your Mother and Call Me Kat, which was on another network. But she's a phenomenal actress, very smart and funny as well. So I mean, I can't wait to see what she brings to the table. I missed the weeks that Mike Richards was filling in, so I don't know, but I'm sure they'll both give it all they have.
Yeah. Well, Robin said Mia Bialik was her choice, but says best of luck to them both. Bobby agrees with Ed in that you really can't compare anybody to Alex Trebek. You know, these hosts are gonna just have to fill their own shoes, not necessarily Trebek's shoes, because it's impossible to fill his shoes. Karen responded to my comment about Anderson Cooper. She said he's probably too busy. That's probably the truth. And then Joanne said, why not just keep alternating the hosts? You know, surprisingly, I think to some, this kind of rotation seemed to work to some degree. You've got some different personalities and flavors. They all brought something new to the show. They benefited a charity of their choice. So it did work for the duration that it lasted.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think summer is a really hard time to really tell if a show is working.
True.
Because people's patterns are different. You know, one week you're able to watch every single day, and the next week you don't catch a single one because you're on vacation or you're doing something else. So they're planning to start it this fall in September. It launches. So we will see what it looks like, and we'll, of course, talk about it again as soon as it starts, because that's what we do here.
Cherise said, I wonder what our former co-worker and friend Taryn Kirksey would say about this. We'll have to call him and check in. He'd probably have something funny to say.
For sure.
Sarcasm. Okay, let's get to some morning headlines, and then we have another fun talker coming up. We'll start with this. The countywide mask mandate takes effect tomorrow night in Guilford County. It applies to all public indoor spaces, including restaurants, gyms, and stores. The county commission says it hopes this will be temporary, and the commissioners plan to reevaluate this decision as cases start to decrease and vaccinations start to increase. Guilford County's mask mandate again starts tomorrow night at 5. The Forsyth County Health Department ran out of COVID vaccine cash cards again. Several providers across the state are part of this new incentive program to get more people to roll up their sleeves. You get a $100 gift card if you get your first dose at a participating clinic. And if you drive someone to get a shot, you also get $25. The county is expecting another shipment of those cards soon. There are also other locations where you can get them.
If you need a new backpack, you can grab a free one in Winston-Salem today. The police department is giving away 1,400 of them, as well as other school supplies today. The supplies are limited, so it is first come, first served. The giveaways are happening at several locations today, and we have that list for you on WFMYnews2.com. Right now, the first round of the Wyndham Championship tournament well underway. The first tee times bright and early this morning at 6:50. Meteorologist Christian Morgan made it to the course before the players did, and he talked about the amazing field in this year's tournament. He'll have another live update and report today on WFMY News 2 at noon.
Well, from great golf to great baseball, tonight the Field of Dreams will be more than a movie set. It will really host a Major League Baseball game.
This is 100% using the phrase, if you build it, they will come. The Chicago White Sox and the New York Yankees playing in the center of Iowa cornfields. While we tell you about tonight's special game, type in your favorite sports movie in the comments.
So here's the deal about the Field of Dreams. The NMLB built a new nearly 8,000-seat pop-up ballpark just past the field used in the popular movie Field of Dreams. It is full of nostalgia. There's the cornfield outfield, which is a real corn maze fans can walk through. Also some wooden dugouts and a manual scoreboard. The MLB did a ticket lottery for anyone with an Iowa zip code and who wanted to attend the game.
So we're asking you this morning, what is your favorite sports movie? We heard from one viewer who said Mr. Holland's Opus. The movie is about a former composer turned high school music teacher who works with the football coach to inspire kids to love music. And Kim said The Way Back. This movie stars Ben Affleck as a former basketball star who tries to turn his life around and starts coaching at his alma mater. And then a few picks for this viewer who said Rudy, The Blind Side, and Invincible, all favorites for their messages. Daryl said he likes Days of Thunder, the NASCAR film starring Tom Cruise. Definitely some classics there. And I feel like sports movies always have this underdog, concepts and fighting their way back, whether it's through a life change or a life challenge or some type of, massive obstacle, and it just kind of gives you that sense that you can do it too, which is why sports movies are so iconic. Rocky, for instance, he's had challenges. I mean, like he's a real person. Sylvester Stallone obviously is, but I think of Rocky every time I think of okay, am I going to get through this? And then that song plays in my head, dun, 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 and I'm like, yeah, and I'm running up the top of the stairs at the Philadelphia Courthouse, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just those moments that you will never forget. Don't you have music background playing?
I feel like I just got a workout watching you do that. That is hysterical.
I'm a little dramatic. Sorry.
Hey, there you go. You could probably star in the next movie with that ability.
Love it.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying?
I do.
It's
yeah.
the theme of the sports movies.
Is.
They kind of give you hope and encouragement.
And the music sometimes does make all the difference, really, in setting the tone. So I love Secretariat and Seabiscuit. Of course, you can probably tell I love horses with those answers, those movies about famous racehorses back in the day. And then I also, and I'm not a huge football fan, but my husband is, so I get sucked into watching all these movies. I love Draft Day with Kevin Costner, and I also love Remember the Titans. I mean, that is a classic. And then the one about Jesse Owens I saw a few years ago was really good. It was called Race. Highly recommend that as well. Lots of great messages in there, and obviously featuring a fantastic athlete of his time.
Yeah, I was just replying to Sherry Harris. She said the baseball one with Gina, Rosie, and Tom Hanks. There's no crying in baseball. I'm like, oh yeah, Gina Davis, of course, A League of Their Own.
Yes.
Yes, great movie. Love it. Of course, I grew up on that and could watch it 1,000 times over. It's such a great movie.
Yeah.
Forgot about that one. How about you, Ed Matthews?
So many baseball movies, but one that came to mind pretty quickly earlier this morning. Let's go back in time to 1988. Bull Durham. Yeah, what a classic. filmed right over in Durham.
I was going to say, that one is based on Durham, North Carolina, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Absolutely. The Durham Bulls.
Yeah. Some history there.
Yeah.
Of course, during ACC time, I love watching the movies about, the history of the ACC and the players that kind of made the conference what it is today, and the coaches for that matter. So those documentaries are also pretty awesome. I just watched one on Coach Roy Williams the other day. It was on HBO. And it was a free subscription, so I didn't, but I was like, oh wow, I didn't know all of these things. And then, all the coaches before him that, I'm not really well versed on all of Carolina's basketball history. So I got a good education the other day.
Good. I love it. Okay, so Fanta says, remember the Titans, Coach Carter, Friday Night Lights. Those are all good ones. Trina also likes Race featuring Jesse Owens. Tanisha said A League of Their Own. Cherie, Coach Carter, and Remember the Titans. Robin said really any story based on a true story, no matter the sport, captures her interest. I would agree with that.
Right.
Yeah, Bobby said Leatherheads was good. Some parts were recorded in Greensboro, starring George Clooney. I didn't know that.
Nice.
Okay, some really great movies. Gosh, makes me want to curl up on a rainy day. Rain that we're not getting anytime soon.
We are getting rain.
Maybe some pop-up storms. But like for a movie day, you just need like the whole day to just set the tone of like dark and dreary.
Yeah. Well, Tropical Storm Fred could make its way this way, so we'll see.
It could be movie week next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully not, but it could be movie week by about Tuesday, but we'll see.
I don't know. Let's give Megan what she wants, Ed.
Yeah. Let's give her a rainy day.
Rainy day.
Okay.
I love it.
It's just so hot.
It is hot.
No one likes like this type of heat. Even the summer lovers like me.
It is hot.
All right, let's get a final forecast, Ed.
Let's do it. Let's check that 7-day forecast because it is going to be hot again for the next several days. Low and mid 90s today and tomorrow with a heat index above 100. Working outdoors or even going to the golf tournament, take it easy. Plenty of water to stay hydrated. And we'll be on the lookout for maybe a few strong or severe storms in the afternoon. Not many, but the ones that do develop will have a lot of heat energy to work with. So we'll keep an eye on it for you. We'll keep the afternoon storms in the mix right on through the weekend. But at this point, the weekend does not look like a washout. You'll have to dodge some of those storms in the afternoon. Extra clouds will start to trim a few degrees off on Saturday around 90, and look at Sunday as a front moves just south of our area. We may hold into the low 80s. Now, early next week bears watching. We're going to be tracking Tropical Storm Fred. Right now, forecast to move up the west coast of Florida, just offshore, and a possible landfall sometime Monday. Right along the Florida coast, the panhandle of Florida, and that remnant low possibly moving through Georgia and the western Carolinas. That would bring kind of a surge of moisture and give us an enhanced chance of rain as we go into Monday and Tuesday. So we'll say potentially wet for the first 3 days of the new week, and we'll pin that down as we get a little bit closer to that time frame. But look at those highs. Wow, 80? That's what happens when you have rain and clouds.
Yeah.
Cools it off.
Cools it off a little bit, which is what we like. We like a little bit of a cooler day.
Yeah.
I was looking at the national outlook, and your hometown or home state, Missouri, was 80-degree overnight low temperatures.
Wow.
Overnight low temperatures are 80 degrees.
So bad.
That's
oh man.
Not typical.
No, I mean, normally, at least my home city of St. Louis is typically pretty similar to what we get here, high humidity in the summer. We can get some really cold winters, of course, more snow than we get here. But generally, I mean, if you look at Missouri on a map, it's pretty even of a latitude to North Carolina. So you would think that the weather patterns would be similar. But yeah, it's a lot hotter in the Midwest lately.
Oh, yeah. Well, you never know. It can change like that.
Sure can.
You never know. All right. Thank you so much for joining us on After GMS. Had a great time chatting with you this morning, and we'll be back tomorrow for our Friday edition of our favorite show, After GMS. We'll see you then.